with some great people doing great things across entertainment, business, community, and more. And before we get into tonight's show, and before we go ahead and do our usual station announcements and my announcements, happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, as well as the aunties, grandmoms, mother figures. We thank you for all that you do for family, community, and beyond. So we really hope you're coming off of a great Mother's Day. Now, to enjoy tonight's show, obviously you want to make sure to tune in to statusnetwork.net for the big pop-up box. Click Conversation Corner and make sure to go ahead and fill in the field so you're notified when we air live. Likewise, for on your app, make sure for your smartphones, download the Status Network app, click on channels, click on LYVE Live TV, and you're good to go. On your social media platforms of Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, and other platforms, go ahead and add Status Network as well as LYVE Live TV. And make sure for those of you that have Roku and Amazon Fire Stick to go ahead and tune into the Status Network and you'll be able to enjoy the show. Now a couple of real quick station reminders. Let's get that first one up right quick. And since 2020, if you or someone you know is involved in film, whether it's short film, documentary, long film, this is a place where independents grow. As you see right here, you'll be able to utilize Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and our other platforms. So make sure to connect with us at the information at the bottom of the screen to get your film the exposure it needs. Another station reminder is, again, if you or someone you know has an interest on being on this side of the microphone, make sure to connect with us here at the Status Network. We have multiple channels based on your multiple themes of programming. And, of course, don't forget, we also have a radio station as well. So if you or someone you know is looking for a home for a show, podcast, things along those lines, connect with us at the information provided. And don't forget to stay connected with me, the host. And, as you know, books, audiobooks, author, speaker, and host. That's right. Connect with me, the author, Andrew Snorton. Pick up a copy of any of the books, audiobooks, and, of course, make sure to tune into the Conversation Corner every second and fourth Wednesday. And those are just some quick reminders. Now we're getting ready to go into our first guest, and I tell you what, a proven track record is an understatement when it comes to business, financial planning, and a little-known fact, once upon a time, not long ago, we actually partnered together to do a show, and now she is seeing the fruits of her labor and her investment. We are so excited to have Emma Folks join us. Emma, how are you doing this evening?
Here we go. I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me today, Andrew.
Hey, thanks a lot for taking and making the time from all of your moving parts. And you've got some extraordinary moving parts. Before we get into those, can you give our viewers a quick background where you're from? And since you are in the Atlanta area, just a few of the moving parts that you have going on.
Sure. I'm originally from New York City. I'm from the Bronx and Queens. Also from Southern California. I moved there. Orange County, Chino, California, moved to Atlanta, right, I think 99, year 2000. And in Atlanta, I am the owner of, or one of the owners of Greenwood Wealth Management, which is a wealth management firm. I've been in the industry. I'm a certified financial planner. I've been in the industry now a little over 20 years. Our firm, we've got 3 partners, and we specialize in financial planning for individuals and also for small business owners. So that's just one part of the moving parts.
And let's talk about that, because we hear all the time finances, financial planning, business. And for some people it's straightforward, and some people it's a foreign language. Walk through with our viewers, I guess, a little bit about the professional growth, okay, from the time you started, like they say, this is where you were, this is where you are. And in addition to talking about your growth in the field, talk with our viewers, just, I'll say, what fundamentals or essentials that people want to just make sure they take note of.
Oh man, that's a great question. The industry has changed so much since I got into it. when I started with a big box firm, like one of the big firms that has, stock and shareholders and things like that. And the funny thing about that is you go into it with good intention. It's just like any relationship. When you're coming in, they tell you the things that you want to hear, and then you get there and you see that things are done a little bit different. So I stayed with that firm for about 8 years. And what we were taught, fortunately, was the CFP model. So we did learn comprehensive financial planning. It's just for the firm that I was with, every issue that people had, they felt that they had a solution for it. And they were more of a captive firm where the only products and solutions that they offer are the ones that they make, and they don't consider anything on the outside. So part of my growth within the industry is realizing that, one shop can't handle all the woes of all the people. So I then went kind of hybrid, where I was allowed to do things myself, focused on financial planning, selling insurance, also investment management. And then after I got my CFP, I decided in order to fully serve people the way I wanted to serve them and the way I felt my community needed to be served, I need to be independent. And what that means is, instead of representing one asset management company or one insurance company, I now represent thousands of asset management companies and hundreds of insurance companies. So I now get to choose who I think is going to be the best fit for my client, versus someone else telling me what product or solution is the best fit for the client. So when it comes to growth, being an independent financial advisor or a financial planner, that is the creme de la creme. That is what every financial advisor or every financial planner should want to be in order to give their clients the best.
And I'm glad you walked through that. And like you said, and I know from back in the day from the insurance industry, you have your captive agents and
right.
others. And it's great, like you explained, the benefit about being independent. Your toolkit and toolbox is a whole lot more vast. And
oh my gosh.
Like you said before, you're in a position where you can better serve based on what people's needs are. Talk to us a little bit more about the work with your financial group. In addition to these types of services, what are other services that are provided?
At my day job. So we do comprehensive planning. We also do financial coaching. Unfortunately, even if people are making what we call a good income, they may not be ready for traditional financial planning yet, because they haven't gone through the financial behavioral. It's kind of a path that we take people on. So what we do is, before we have you investing money and making insurance premiums, we make sure that you are emotionally ready to handle money. So we take people through, we are actually in school right now for behavioral finance, because the root of some people's problems as to why they don't have money has nothing to do with what they earn. Some of it, and a lot of it, is psychological. A lot of it is how we were raised and what we had or didn't have when we were little kids. So for us, we start there. We dig into the money values that people have. And then if they don't need financial coaching, then we go to financial planning, or we deal with just the insurance needs they have, or we deal with the rollovers and things like, if they've got 401ks and 403bs in various places, just kind of consolidating them, putting them in one place, and setting up a pretty decent portfolio for them.
And I'm glad you talked about that, because a lot of times when we think of like financial fitness, we don't think about somebody's, like you said, their maturity level or their comprehension level or things of that nature. So it's great to hear that even in the financial world, there's a growing recognition, for lack of a better term, of health and wellness.
Oh my gosh, you can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the other. We're even looking at beefing up some of the curriculum in the schools so that we are teaching behavioral finance, so that people understand the importance of making good decisions when they're feeling good mentally. People, when we look at why people become bankrupt or when they go through financial woes, a lot of it is because of medical costs, but a lot of it is mental health. When people are depressed, They don't want to, open their mail or answer the phone or read emails or things like that. So it's just kind of getting to the root of what's happening and making sure people get the resources. So if we have to refer out to, a mental health provider, whether it's a psychiatrist, psychologist, licensed clinician, someone like that, somebody that can listen. If we're talking to someone and we're realizing that there's more going on, that's kind of out of our, scope. So we find a professional that they can work with, and then, once they get some of that stuff taken care of, then they can come back to us, because you cannot, you can make money, but you won't be able to keep it unless you've got your mental health right. And as a Black person in America today, our mental health is a little challenged right now.
Really? You mean Black folks are going through some mental health challenges?
Going through some stuff right now.
I would have never known if you hadn't shared it. But now when people, I have a new or greater appreciation when people say health is wealth, and we're not just talking about the food you put in your body or the fitness, it's also your state of mind. So I'm glad that you're articulating that. So
we are all over that right now.
Definitely. And I'm glad, no, I'm serious. I'm glad that you're sharing that, because again, we don't think about a number of these things until after something happens. And
right.
What you're trying to do is be as preventative and proactive so people can put, their energies into things that are going to be more productive.
Yep.
Great. So you've got the financial management pieces, the health building, the wealth building, but I know that is not the only hat that you wear, because you walked through with us. Like we said from the outset, you have a media presence as well. So walk through with us a little bit about you're dipping into the media pool, not only of what you've done historically, present day, but you've got some big things coming up on the horizon.
Oh yeah, thanks for that. So I've been dipping my toe in the media space for a little while now, from our timely talks that we used to do back in the day. Then I had a show called Financial Renaissance with the M's, and during I would say COVID, we were kind of, we had a captive audience ourselves, right? We're in the house, we're trying to figure things out. And, as we were trapped in the house trying to figure out what to do, the young people started to protest. And, Andrew and I are, we grew up with the 80s type of rap and 90s type of rap. And, we had our Public Enemies and the Boogie Down Productions, and it was a conscious rap movement, hip hop movement. It was very uplifting. And then right after that we got suckered into the gangster rap stuff. So after George Floyd's murder and the kids started protesting in the streets last year, I felt an enormous amount of guilt. And my business partners happen to be younger than me, they're millennials. And I had conversations with them and, expressing the guilt that I felt, and that I think we dropped the ball by not stopping some of the things that happen in corporate America as far as racism and microaggressions. We just let it slide and try not to make waves. So since we weren't going to be out in the streets protesting, we wanted to figure out what exactly it is that we could do to benefit our community. And so what we thought is by giving financial education. Now, when I say financial education, I think that is kind of a catch-all phrase to make people feel good about giving education or literacy to someone. But if people don't have two nickels to scrub together or to rub together, it doesn't matter if they learn about financial literacy or financial education, right? So what we decided is we wanted to create something that is going to help financially empower people in addition to giving education and literacy. So we've given birth to Greenwood Financial Network. It launches June 1st. And what we're going to have is a network. I'll have a show called Emma Knows Money. There's a show called Talking Cash Podcast. So there's going to be different shows depending on where you are in your life. There's going to be a show that is going to be able to reach you at the level that you're at, to give you the information that you need and to also inspire you to figure out how to make extra money if you're working for corporate America. Our thing is, just like with the NBA and the NFL, only 2% of college athletes actually become pro. Well, that's just about the same statistics when we look at corporate America. Only about 2% of people that work for corporate America are going to become multimillionaires. So if you want to become rich and you want to thrive instead of just surviving, you may not be able to just rely on your W-2 job. So what we're going to do is, for the people who are trying to start their own business, well, you may not be able to afford a lawyer. So one of the shows is going to be a lawyer who's going to teach you the documents that you need, the contracts that you need, the non-disclosure agreements, the different contracts and things like that you need before you go into business or before you share your ideas with people.
I'm going to pause you right there if I can for a moment. Non-disclosure agreement. Oh my goodness. Where have I heard that before?
NDA.
And anybody else out there, where have you heard that before? But that's,
right.
I just had to pause right there because I'm like, wow, you're speaking the language, definitely.
Right. Keep
going in regards to the resources that'll be shared.
So from a resources standpoint, we're also going to have Johnny Lyman. He is going to be teaching about real estate investing. And again, no one on the network, let me rephrase this. Everyone on the network is going to be a professional. Everyone on the network will have proven results of whatever they're talking about. So in Johnny's case, he and his wife have been doing real estate investing for about 15 years. He's also a lieutenant colonel in the military, right? And so what he's going to show people, when you watch HGTV and those other shows and they're flipping houses, like you have to have 80,000, 100,000, and you go in the house and it has mold and water damage, he's going to show you that you don't need to have that much money, and you don't have to buy a house that has mold or water damage, but how to flip houses on your budget, or how to buy and hold on your budget. We have a cooking show that's going to be for the teenagers, quick and healthy meals to cook. All parents hate cooking. I was a single mom. It was a tragedy. At 6 p.m., I have to pick my kid up, or, I get home and after a hard day of work, I've got to figure out what to cook. Well, we have a show that's going to teach people, like, whatever you have in your house, cook along with us. Right? And it's usually going to be the teenagers that are doing it. So there's going to be shows for little kids. We'll be teaching them money concepts. And then we're going to have shows for the older Americans, our elders, making sure that they understand things like romantic fraud. Our elders have been trapped inside and they can't date. So they're getting online and, they're getting scammed out of money. So we're going to teach people, just if it involves money, and just about everything involves money, we're going to have it on the network. We've got about 20 shows right now, 10 in post-production and another 10 in pre-production right now. So I'm really excited to see how things go down.
And when I hear the term financial literacy, you're really expanding the definition, how people can apply it. And like you said, just in regarding to the resources that you'll have with your programming, you're hitting all segments. When I heard you talk about with younger people, it's doing that seed planting and building those habits early so they can avoid some of the mistakes that we have adults have made. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And
and they can learn. And fortunately, with the mistakes, the financial mistakes that we've made, some of these kids grew up during the Great Recession. And they watch their parents lose homes. They watch their parents lose jobs. They watch their parents' finances just get blown up. And then here we go again, 12 years later, and it's something else. So they know that you can't rely necessarily on corporate America. So what do? Let's teach them how to, find assets that appreciate in value and not depreciate. We're going to be teaching people about consumerism, and how to use those dollars that we use for consumerism to build our country, to build our community, right? So those are the things that we're looking at doing, trying to go back to how things were before the civil rights movement.
Well, again, programming wise, I mean, it definitely is help filling an area of need, an area of concern. You're doing your thing, with your quote day job, for lack of a better term. What's on the horizon? You've got your core, you're doing your extension with the network. Like, what else is on the horizon? What's the next great, what's your next assignment, the next great adventure for Emma?
There's a lot. We also have a nonprofit called Bridging Financial Gaps. We're partnering with the King Center, again, to bring financial literacy to the community, making sure people can make better decisions from a younger age, so starting with like high school kids. And then there's another project that I'm working on that I'll end up telling you more about, but we're looking at kind of building a satellite community in Middle Georgia. bringing finances, education, technology, and healthcare. And if we can do things right, replicating that in other rural and inner cities around the country, as well as on Native American reservations. There's no reason for people that are in rural communities to be destitute, to not have access to healthcare, to not have access to Wi-Fi. You can't think and you can't build wealth if you're trying to figure out where food is coming from, or you can't get to the doctor and things like that. You know, we can't be the greatest country in the world, and then there's a large portion of our country that doesn't have access to just basic needs. So in order for us to win, we're going to all have to kind of roll up our sleeves and take a part in making sure that the other areas, the impoverished areas in our country, they get the things that they need, and we can do it.
And I tell you what, investment, it's really what you do. And not only, like you said, through the lens of, I'll say, money or finances, but even with what you just talked about, access to resources, access to opportunities, better equipping, better empowering, better educating. And these are things that are definitely needed. So we tip our cap to you and commend you and your team of, you know, like-minded individuals are like, we have the ability, let's go ahead and do something with it. Before we wind down your segment, and I always like asking this, and it still ties in with seed planting. If people don't remember anything else about what you've shared with your moving parts, and I know there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of insight there, what's one piece of information or insight or encouragement that you'd like to leave with viewers, and whether it deals with finances or access to resources or whatever? What's one thing you definitely want to leave with our viewers?
The one thing is, thy will be done. Whatever it is that you want to do it. You don't always have to share it with people. Sometimes people can discourage you, but if there's a dream or a goal that you have, and it can be several of them, do them all. You can do it. Thy will be done. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, you can do it if you believe in yourself.
Powerful and so necessary. So before we go to our first commercial break, Emma, provide us with the best contact info, website, social media, things along those lines, so people can not only keep track of what you're doing, but lend support to what you're doing.
Sure. My day job, Greenwood Wealth Management, you can find us at greenwoodwealthmanagement.com. That's the website. For the Greenwood Financial Network, if you're a content provider or if you want to volunteer or help out in the network, you can reach us at content@greenwoodfinancialnetwork.com. We're on social media. We'll be launching everything sometime this month, within the next few days. We're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter. And then if you want to follow me, I'm on all the social medias as Emma Knows Money.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad I know you. So thank you, my friend, for taking and making the time. Continued blessings and well wishes with all you're working on. Of course, I know we're overdue. But seriously, continued blessings with everything that you're working on.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you. I love what you're doing, brother.
Hey, thank you, my friend. And what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our first commercial break. So stick around for our next guest on the Conversation Corner.
Chicago, make plans to be part of Unity Day Chicago, taking place over Memorial Day, Saturday, and Sunday. It's all about stopping the violence, so make sure to make it out for the kickoff event Saturday and be a part of not only the car parade, but engaging the South Side and the West Side. For those in Metro Atlanta, shouts out to Enigma Entertainment Group, and mark your calendars for June 26th as Groovin' on the Green returns, featuring Lakeside and Big Pokey Bear, DJ Tron, vendors, and more. So make sure to mark your calendars and check it out. Doing good, but doing it greater. That's what Creative Community Solutions is all about. From education services, as you see here, press and media, writing and editing, doing good but doing it greater is what they're all about. So make sure to get connected with them today so they can help you make it happen. Make sure to stay connected with me, the author, as I have upcoming interviews with Cortez Mac TV, the Seattle Urban Book Expo, Voyage Atlanta Magazine, Groundbreaking Sports, and more. So make sure to stay tuned into the show and connect with me to find out more. Make sure to pick up your merch, which is accessible and affordable, whether it's a mug for a great warm cup of coffee or tea, a bracelet, and yes, we are working on new merch dropping this summer. And speaking of dropping, let's drop this track from the Author's Mixtape Volume 4, The Collab.
How is it that something that looks so frail can be so beautiful and so powerful that it's more than planting seeds? It is evoking that range of emotion that just about everybody needs. And I'm not talking about some tower of power. I'm talking about giving people their flowers. Now, we've heard this usually at the dawn of the day or when someone has finished climbing up the rough side of the mountain. You know what I'm talking about. The homegoing, the swaying, the recitals of how wonderful somebody is and the wonderful stories. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back for our second segment on the Conversation Corner. We're taking on a sports theme, and I'll tell you what, if you like hoops, meaning basketball for those that can't translate, and you want to catch semi-professional action, I tell you what, I've had the pleasure of covering the Georgia Spartans, and we're here with not only the owner of the team, but we also have one of the players. So we are here to have the owner of the Georgia Spartans with us. Let people know who you are, and if you can, a little bit about your background before getting into basketball.
Okay, my name is Jarrell Sharon. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. Me and my cousin used to have a music and video game store in Virginia, and actually a telecommunication business, whatever. And also, when I moved to Atlanta, I just go ahead and love basketball. So one of my friends reached out to me and asked me, do I want to start a basketball team? Because he actually wanted to get back into basketball and play overseas, but he actually tore his ACL. So I bought the team from him, and 10 years later, I still have the Georgia Spartans.
Wow, so it's just one of those timing is everything, basically.
Pretty much, yes.
And not only that, your passion for the game. So here you are 10 years later, the story of the Georgia Spartans. For those who don't know, what would you say is part of the Georgia Spartans story, not only on the court? Let's start on the court.
Okay, on the court, pretty much out of the 10 years, we only lost 40 games. So pretty much we have multiple championships, multiple division champions, and we're a winner all year round. Matter of fact, this year we only lost one game this whole season. So we're going for another chip this year.
Okay, so think about, so right now you guys have played, what, is it 7 games or 8 games? So 8 games, have a 7-1 record, and you're still on top of the United Men's Basketball League.
Correct.
Okay, so with the regular season, walk us through how many regular season games are left, and of course, as a competitor, as I learned in baseball, you either win or you learn a lesson. So talk with us about the upcoming home games. I mean, not home games, the upcoming games, as well as just really the team's focus and mindset.
Okay, so last week we took a hard loss in by 3 points at the last minute. But we're going to go ahead and focus again and go back to winning again. So we got 2 games left in the season. So this game, we're going to go ahead and blow the team out to let everybody know it was just a fluke last week. Must have been something in the air. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and go against our arch rival, the Atlanta Legends, which is tied for first place with us.
Okay, great. Now, before we get into some of the other moving parts, we're so excited to have one of the actual players joining us. So if we can go ahead and get that camera to switch in just a moment right here on the couch, if we can get to it. I guess there we go. Well, we're actually showing some of the photography and some of the game action, but again, we actually have one of the team players joining us. So let's see, and it's great because I hear the name Andrew in Greek represent strong. So we've got one of the team players, Andrew of the Georgia Spartans. Can we get the camera to switch on him right quick?
Andrew?
Yes. Could we get that camera to switch? Not on me. But let's see. Well, while we're making that switch, we'll go ahead and get talking. Andrew, do you have access to the mic?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We're going to work on getting people to see you. So Andrew, there we go. It took a minute, but there we are. Andrew, give our viewers a little bit of background, where you are from, and a little bit of your basketball experience before playing with the Georgia Spartans.
Okay, yeah. So I was originally born in North Carolina, but I moved to Chattanooga. I grew up in that area from basically first grade on, and I played college basketball at Young Harris College for 2 years before transferring to Coastal Georgia. Finished out my 4 years of eligibility there, and then I played overseas in Spain and the Dominican Republic actually twice, and I've been with the Georgia Spartans now for 4 years, 4 seasons. So we've had a good run these last 4 years.
And right there, you've got a body of work, like you said, playing collegiately and playing overseas. What would you say, is there really a difference between playing outside the U.S. and playing within the U.S., or is it still basketball is still basketball?
For the most part, basketball is basketball. As an American, you sort of have an initiation when you go overseas because most teams only are allowed 2 import players, and basically everybody picks the United States to get their imports, and most of the time the guys aren't too happy that you're coming over there to take their jobs, and like in my instance, both places I went was not English speaking, so I had no clue what my teammates were saying. I should have paid more attention in Spanish class in high school, but yeah, for the most part, basketball is basketball. Every level you go up, the speed gets faster, which a lot of guys will talk about. But honestly, here in the UMBL, in the league that we're in with the Spartans, it rivals almost every level of competition I've ever been in.
And I'm glad you said that, because some people have misconceptions when it comes to semi-professional. They don't know exactly what it is, but a lot of you guys who are playing semi-professional ball, you've played. Like, y'all have played some major competition. When it comes to this team, what would you say is a key characteristic or attribute, whatever you want to call it, that keeps this team regularly in the mix? Because it's not easy staying on top, and as a competitor, nobody likes to lose. But what is it, do you think, about your team that makes the team what it is, and really the team that people try to know, hey, we have to bring our best game against the Georgia Spartans?
Well, I think part of it is a lot of us have been playing together for a while now, so we have a really good chemistry, whereas a lot of other teams in the league, they don't seem to have that click that we have when we're all out there firing. Actually, last week the loss, it's tough saying 7-1 because we really thought we were gonna run the slate this year, but we're missing a key part, and he helps us on the rebounds. I think that our rebounding we're bigger than any team in the league, and we dominate the boards. And I think usually in a basketball game, if you dominate the boards, you're usually going to come out on top. And so I think that helps us. But also, as far as like semi-pro goes, one of the things that's difficult people don't realize is, like, we have full-time jobs on top of playing basketball. Some people are like, oh, pro athletes have it so hard. There's this full-time job playing basketball. And to some of us, that sounds like a dream. We'd love to be able, but we're working full-time jobs and then having to get in to the weight room and to the basketball gym to get our shots up, to put in the work that is required for us to be successful on the court. And so, but we have a lot of guys on our team who are willing to put in that work, even though everybody's grinding in their full-time, day-to-day jobs that they're supporting families with. Some guys, luckily myself, I'm single still, so my bills are low. But some guys, I mean, it's amazing to see what some of the guys are able to do, and it really is with as full slate as we have.
And I'm glad you shared that, because again, it's one of those people see you where you are, like when they come out on Saturdays, they see you playing, but they don't know a lot of the behind the scenes and the other hard work. Now, pivoting back to Jarrell, hard work is definitely a hallmark of this team, but it's not just on the court. One of the things that I've been able to discover is how ingrained you are in the community, and it's not just show and tell. You guys really do have your feet leaving a footprint in multiple areas. Walk through just this season alone some of the community initiatives that you've already put on the board, and walk through with us. You have a big one. We know you've got big ones coming up, but there's a big one coming up in June. So walk through that with our viewers.
Okay, so I actually partnered with Amera Group and Samsung, and actually 107.9, we're going to bring the Dekalb Fitness Challenge to y'all. It's a free event. We're going to have gym care there. We're going to have Zumba classes. We're going to have kickball games. We're going to have STEM programs. We're going to have robotics, teaching kids how to do drone. We also have cooking classes, and not only that, we're going to teach the seniors how to use the foam and the technology. And this pretty much going to be an outside event, COVID-free distancing. It's going to be at Exchange Park June 12th from 2 to 6 o'clock.
Awesome, awesome. Now, in addition to some of those moving parts, is there still a way for people to volunteer? Like, for example, is there still a need for speakers in those particular fields or things along those lines?
Yeah, so I actually need a nutritionist and also need somebody to do yoga. And mental health is a big key of the black community that we actually sometimes look over. So I definitely need somebody to talk about mental health.
Okay, so again, for any viewers out there, whether you're based in Metro Atlanta or it's slightly a little bit safer to come out, so be masked up and whatever. Make sure you have a full tank of gas. You've heard it here, and I'm glad that you said that because again, service and outreach, it's not just out of convenience. This is something that again is very integrated in the work that you do. Let's pivot back a little bit to game days because we know the regular season's still going on, the postseason's around the corner. When people who are fans of the game, families or what have you, or people who are looking for something to do, walk through with us the experience that takes place at a typical basketball game, because there's great action on the court, but there's other great moving parts that coincide to make it a really good experience.
Yeah, so we actually have halftime performance. Most of the time we have dance teams going on. We have giveaways. We have a DJ. We have great food vendors and all kind of vendors actually there selling their products. And plus it's just a great family fun event. It's only $10. Kids under 12 get in free. Just come and you can enjoy all the games, just not our game.
Okay, that's awesome. So you've got these other moving parts to help for the fan experience. And here's another thing, and we talk about fan friendly, not only just what goes on, but also the access. If I had a family, which I don't, but if I had a family of like 4 or 5, and I have a couple of kids who are 12 and under, walk through with us why it's also an accessible form of catching high-quality sports in a high-quality setting.
Okay. Well, first of all, you can't really go nowhere nowadays with 4 kids and spend $10 to come in the game, enjoy yourself, and get great food, great action. It's a great thing to get away for 2 or 3 hours just to relieve stress and just enjoy yourself, kick your feet up, and listen to some great music and some great basketball.
So to make sure I've got it correct, if you have kids that are 12 and under, they are free to come. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So I want to make sure we're reiterating this when people are looking like, we can't do anything. We're giving you access. 12 and under free. Older than 12, $10.
Yes.
So you're making sure to take away some of those barriers so people can come out, enjoy themselves, still have money in their pocket to get something to eat, enjoy halftime entertainment. Usually there's a DJ that's spinning, so it gives it a nice relaxed feel. And then, of course, this is just me, but I guess for the players, every once in a while when you hear some sounds, it's like, yeah, you get the juices flowing and energy going. Andrew, talk with us a little bit just about that game experience for you, because like you said, you've played overseas, you've played here. Is there just a different energy or vibe when you guys are playing in that type of setting?
For sure. I think a lot of guys, you'd be surprised how many semi-pro leagues there are, and people are always surprised when I tell them. But as far as like the crowd goes, I've been to some where it feels like you're just playing pickup or practice. In our games, truly, there's an environment, there's a crowd, and everybody seems to have a good time. Like I said, the DJ and everything helps, but I think at the same time, people enjoy and are surprised by the level of basketball that's being played, and usually it's pretty entertaining. We got some guys some high flyers that can really dunk, and we got shooters, we got everything. So it's fun it's good basketball, and the crowds are great. They help us a lot, and the other teams in the league might be mad to hear this, but I think the Spartans probably have the most fans in the league, hands down, easily.
Wow, well, but some people would say that's trash talking and fighting words, but then other people will say it's not bragging if it's true. So we're just going to leave it there. Just figure out which one, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm going to say it's more on it's the not bragging if it's true. That's just me. So you guys have, like you said, for 10 years you've been the captain of the ship as a team owner. You're making sure, like you said, 40 losses over 10 years, so you know that people know when they come and see the team, it's a winning team. It's a team that competes, a team that plays hard, that plays for each other. And on top of that, you guys take that same attitude and mentality when it comes into the community with the health fair that's coming up in June. What would you say is next for the Georgia Spartans? And, whether it's on the court, whether it's in the community, what would you say is next?
We're actually going to expand, so we're actually going to try to diversify our basketball team and make it a women in sports. So I have a couple big events coming up in the fall, women in sports expos, maybe get some general managers that are women on the team, and pretty much just expand my reach. So we're probably going to move down to Peachtree City and maybe Smyrna area also to do some community events.
Wow, so you guys are really making your footprint not only in the venues that the team is playing, but you're really looking at expanding your footprint into other spaces and other spaces and places throughout Metro Atlanta.
Yes.
That is awesome. So it's like forward moving, forward thinking, basically.
Correct.
Okay, so before we get ready to pivot and what have you, what would you say? I'll say words to live by. And I say that because just what you're doing within the Georgia Spartans and what you're trying to do outside to expand that reach, cast that net, what would you say is like your motto or words that you live by? Because clearly whatever you're living by is being made manifest with the work you're doing with the team and then related projects.
Well, I think my grandma used to tell me a saying back in the days, being a blessing to others is your rent while you're here on earth. So while I'm here on earth, be able to give back and help other people in the community. It's a blessing, so you get your blessings in return.
That sounds like stewardship, outreach, and service. Andy, Andrew, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I hate, no, because I remember as a kid, I couldn't stand, I know, life hack, I couldn't stand being called that. But Andrew, what would you say when you look at your professional experience, what you're doing right now, and especially to younger versions of you who are competing, whatever, at the high school level or middle school, AAU, whatever, seeing how your basketball journey is, and it is still evolving, what would be a nugget of wisdom or insight or perspective you'd want to give to younger players?
I'd say the biggest thing at every level is just be coachable. Be willing to take criticism. Be willing to work on things that you're not good at. If somebody tells you like, "Hey, you're not a good three-point shooter," don't take that as, "Oh, they're hating on me," or like, "Oh, like." It's nothing personal. Like most of the time, your coaches and the people that are working with you are trying to help you, because if you're doing better, they're doing better. And mistakes, I can't speak for everyone, but mistakes I made myself, younger and dumber and college kid, I just wasn't always willing. I was always coachable, but I wasn't always willing to hear the criticism. I always thought, no, I'm better than that. And honestly, at 28 years old, I wish I would have known some of those things, because I feel like now I'm a better basketball player than I've ever been. And if I could have learned those things earlier, then maybe things would have been a little bit different.
Well, I'll tell you what, perspective is definitely something both of you have. Andrew, what would be the best ways for fans of the game to stay connected, as well as be as encouraging and supportive of you as possible?
Well, if you go to the Georgia Spartans Instagram, it's just Georgia Spartans. There's a bunch of posts of me as well as other guys on the team, and and we're all tagged, and we all kind of interact on that platform the best, I would say, Instagram. So yeah, you can find me and the rest of the team on there, and come out to the games and see what it's about. See that it's a higher level than you might think out there.
Great. And Andrew, thanks for taking time out of your work schedule, your workout schedule, or practice schedule to be out here, and continued well wishes, throughout the regular season and going into the postseason.
Thank you.
Jarrell, to help close out our segment, remind viewers the best ways that they can stay connected with you, the team, and remind people again of the date, time, and location for that health fair coming up in June.
Okay, so all social medias are Georgia Spartans. Actually, Georgia spelled out. That website is gaspartans.com. And of course, June 12th, Exchange Park, 2 to 6, free admission. It's going to be lots of food, great entertainment. Come out, bring the kids. It's going to be a lot of challenges. You can actually challenge your parents and challenge the kids to a little obstacle course, drone training, fitness, everything you want to do.
Okay, so thank you both for not tuning in. Well, tuning in as well, but thank you so much for being on this segment. What we're going to do is we're going to take our next commercial break, so stick around for our next segment of the Conversation Corner.
See the band, hear the band, book the band. Make sure to connect with the official music sponsor of the Conversation Corner, the Ear Candy Experience. Add them on the platforms that you see here, check them out live, and make sure to book them for your event soon, real soon. Saturdays are all about the Georgia Spartans. Check out the great basketball action from the semi-professional team that plays in the United Men's Basketball League. Exciting play on the court, exciting action in the stands, and even bigger off the court. Speaking of, check them out on June 12th as they'll participate in the Dekalb Fitness Challenge. They say that health is wealth, so check out all the zones for youth and adults. Still booking speakers, so make sure to connect so we can make some big things happen. Ordinary women doing extraordinary things. Wait a minute. When it comes to black women here in Atlanta, they are doing more than just extraordinary things. They are extraordinary. So make sure to check out Real Women Atlanta magazine to find out about these and other great women doing great things here in the A. Photography, video, short film, documentaries, commercials. Do you get the picture? If so, make sure to connect with Chris 10 Media, as they will make sure to help you make it happen with these and other media needs. So make sure to check them out. Your hat is your crown. If you understand this, then you'll understand the work behind 1820 Hats, men's and women's custom fedoras, which encourage you to live free. So check out their latest line.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back for our third segment on the Conversation Corner, and I tell you what, technology is a wonderful thing. It is a wonderful thing, and speaking of wonderful things, when it talks about, just great moving parts, doing some great things, we're so excited to have joining us Ms. Ashley Triplett. Ashley, how are you doing this evening?
I am good. You are right. Technology is a wonderful thing.
I know sometimes, look at here, sometimes, it's like you got to rub two sticks together, have that lucky rabbit's foot, say a little prayer, but we're just going to make the magic happen. Ashley, absolutely. Let people know where you're based out of, your business, and a little bit about the business's moving parts.
Well, absolutely. So, great evening, everyone. I am Ashley R. Triplett. I am a licensed financial and business manager. I assist small to medium-sized businesses and individual brands with better understanding their finances and better organizing them so that they could see more profit, more money in their pockets, basically. And right now, I'm going to talk to you about not only my brand, which is my financial brand is Be Financially Fit, but it is pageant season, and I am currently the Miss Hospitality and Director's Choice for Women Business Leaders and Entrepreneur Pageant 2019, and I am up for a bigger crown this year, 2021. Yes. Oh gosh, I never thought I would be the person to love pageantry. I kid you not, I am such a tomboy, and so what I enjoy about this pageant is it's not only the wonderful things that you get out of a regular pageant, such as you get to dress up, get to put on makeup, all those kind of things or whatever, if you like those things. But you also get to talk about your business. So it's really still focused on you as a brand, as an entrepreneur, as a business professional. And my brand, again, is Be Financially Fit by Artistically Created Productions. It's pageant season. I'm truly excited. Our pageant will be held in Orlando, Florida, the city beautiful. It will be the weekend of June 11th, and it'll be on that Friday and Saturday, so June 11th and 12th. And if you are in the Orlando area, please feel free to support. You can go on Eventbrite and you can purchase a ticket and you can say I sent you. Ashley Triplett.
Wow, and I apologize. I was about to say we can tell the energy with pageantry. Walk through with our viewers, almost like the how it started to where it is now, from the standpoint of this is what you used to think about pageants, but now that you have an active hand in it, this is where you're seeing where pageants really do have a space and place. So walk through that with us.
Well, my first pageant experience was not a good one. It was my first and my last at the time. It was in high school, and it was a little biased, for lack of a better word. And I thought I did a good job, especially for me, not being that person who really cared for the spotlight like that. But I wanted to make a difference of some sort. So actually that's what pushed me to run even for my high school queen. And nevertheless, that happened, and it left such a bad taste in my mouth, because it really made me feel like what I had thought all along, that pageants were catty and unfair, and really the best person may or may not win, or some of the people who should have won would win. You know, it kind of, for me, confirmed what I had already felt negatively about pageants. So fast forward years later, because I am far from high school, I literally, how I became a part of this pageant was one of my good friends at the time. She was one of the current reigning queens, and she literally, when registration opened, like a day or two after registration had opened, she called me and was like, "So I registered you for the pageant that I was in. Okay, love you, bye," and then hung up the phone and sent me a number to call the director. And I was like, well, what is this? She knows I hate pageantry and dressing up and wearing heels and all of that stuff. So I called the director, Miss Omega Auntie Motherstill, and we call her Auntie. And her energy made me want to see what it was all about. Her energy made me want to say, okay, I guess I'll continue with this since I'm already registered. What do I need to do? And I tell you, she is a serious business coach. If you want to move in your business, she will make you move. And she has pushed me, and she has pushed my sister queens and the current delegates and past delegates and ambassadors. We have all kinds of positions. And when you're dedicated to your passion and your business, she is there for you. She has your back, and she will make sure that you get to the goals that you set for yourself. So she basically combined her love of fashion and pageantry and her love of business, and she combined those, and that's how she came up with Women Business Leaders and Entrepreneur Pageant. And it is growing. I mean, it is now a internationally recognized pageant. So I am very proud of being Director's Choice, and I'm also, for our online pageant, Delegates Liaison. I'm very proud of the work that we do, because it's not just all smiles and gowns, you know, and it's not just about the crowns that we wear and the sashes. It's, you know, really about being serious about your business and pushing that forward. We have to do online on-stage questions. We have to do a business showcase. We have to do a panel interview. So we go through these different scenarios where it just makes us work harder and learn more about our business and what we're really trying to do. So I appreciate it, because it does make me work harder for sure. And I kid you not, like I said, I'm up for a bigger crown, as they say, and I'm enjoying it. I'm excited, nervous, all at the same time, but it's definitely worth it. To anyone who's looking to showcase their business, I say go to WBLEP.com, and we actually have men's divisions now. So definitely, you know, sign up for next season, next round, or if you if you're in another country, you can actually sign up for our online one. But if you don't want to come to Florida or can't make it to Florida, you can sign up for our online one as well. But our next season for the live one will be next year. So, and you can sign up early and pay early, you know, whatever the case may be. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to call me. My number is 404-285-0033. That is my dedicated pageant line. Seriously, guys, it's something that I never knew I wanted, honestly. So it has really changed my perception on pageants.
Wow. And I'm glad you walked through a lot of that, because again, this is what you thought, but now that you're involved, you see that it runs deeper. And a lot of those things that you talked about, from the different things that coincide with the event, the different themes that are covered, really a lot of those are deep rooted in things regarding self-image and self-worth and empowerment and education and impact and being proactive. And we've heard the terms leadership and steward and outreach and service. And then with the role that you're playing in it, it's also evolution. It's evolving into moving into these and other different areas. Describe to us again what you feel makes this pageant, I'll say, so important and so necessary.
Well, we take everyone who's serious, for lack of a better word. So we not only have the adult divisions, if you will. So the adult divisions are the teens, which is 15, 16 to 19. And then we have our Miss MISS division, which is 20 to 30. And then we have our Miss MS division, which I am in, which MS and Mrs. and a little bit of Miss, well, actually excuse me, MS and Mrs. actually have like kind of the same age ranges because you can be married at, any age you're allowed to be married at. So the Mrs. division goes from 20 and up, and then the Miss division goes from 30 and up. So, and that's if you're single, widowed, divorced, and then of course Mrs. is married. And then, so not only do we have those adult divisions, but we have the Princess program and the new Prince program. So, and like I said, we have the adult male division now too. So we can cover anybody. And I honestly, like you said, I think it's so valuable because many times, and again, this was my perception, and actually I heard this from one of my friends as well. My perception of the princesses is what you see on TV. You see these little girls and they're overly done. They have bouffant hair and cake makeup, and they're just teeny boppers. But with this pageant program, that is not what we're looking for. We're just looking for them to be themselves. And it's not even really a competition. It's more so of like a peer, like not a peer, but a mentoring type of thing. And we also get into STEM. So we actually it's kind of a learning thing more than it is a pageant thing. But the children do get crowns and sashes, so they do get to enjoy that part of it. They do get to wear their crowns and their sashes, and everybody wins something. And so it's just really about teamwork with them. And if you do have a young entrepreneur, I would suggest to register them for the Prince and Princess pageant so that by the time they reach divisional age, they'll be ready to go, ready to be on stage and be able to present their business. And we're just looking to grow it bigger and better. Like I said, it's valuable because we're not focused on your beauty. Beauty comes from within. So your physical beauty is irrelevant, for lack of a better word. So that's what stands out about it. Because again, most pageants, as people know, focus on the outside element and other physical elements, for lack of a better word. And so because this one focuses on beauty, business and teamwork rather than beauty, then that's really what it's all about. Networking. I mean, we have authors, we have concierge service businesses, we have even like a private. We have a womanpreneur who's looking to do a private jet business. So that's a challenge, So we're, we have all kinds of entrepreneurs that are working hard out there and making their business the best that they can. And I'm excited and I'm proud for the current delegates. I can't wait to see them on stage. Like I said, I'm up for actually my bigger title that I'm up for is called Ultimate Queen. And I'm really looking forward to serving in this position because I'm really looking forward to serving the new royal court. Servitude is my thing. I'm that type of business professional who, when my team wins or my client wins, I win. So, like I said, I'm not too much of a spotlight person, even though I've had to learn how to be in the spotlight. But it's truly valuable because, again, the focus is not on physical elements rather than your business. And for the young ones, the prince and the princesses. Their teamwork, their eagerness to learn. Like I said, we have the STEM programs that we're just looking to grow each division and each section of our pageant so that it can be better for the next go around.
I tell you what, those are some amazing things that you all are covering. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and close out and go to our final commercial break. Real quick, provide the website where people can still get the information on the pageant.
So again, it's W as in women, B as in business, L as in leader, and E as an entrepreneur, and P as in pageant, WBLET.com. And if you hashtag WBLET, you can, you'll find it.
Awesome. I tell you what, awesome. So we're going to do, thank you so much for taking and making the time. We're going to go ahead and go to our final commercial break and then our quick closeout. So again, stick around for the Conversation Corner.
So I always go back to that, and I always feel that Lisa is kind of guiding me. Lisa is putting people in front of me that need. So you have the darkness here. Every hat tells a story, because everything is like I told you before. Everything is faith-based. These hats have different colors. I would love for you. Oh, there it is on the screen.
No. We have been present. Alpha Phi Alpha, like I said, was founded in 1906, and we've been present in front of the scenes and behind the scenes at every important pivotal moment in American history since 1906.
Entertainment, business, community, and more. Join us every second and fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Status Network, the live TV channel, for the Conversation Corner hosted by the author Andrew Snorton. And let's have a conversation.
Shown on the Status Network, live TV, and let's have a conversation. We'll see you soon.
And ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to draw a show to a close, we want to thank all of our guests for taking time out of their schedule to talk about the great things they're doing. And if this was your first time connecting with them, please do not let that be the last time you connect with them. A couple other real quick programming reminders. Our next live broadcast will be May 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check us out the weekend before as we drop the information on the guests. Again, shouts to our guests, shouts to our production team that makes it happen, even with the little flair and humor. So stick around, take good care, and we'll see you next time.